It's Monday night after a long break off, and we're live on Turn 1 for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series right here on Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz alongside Kevin England. And Kevin, we're going racing at the Lady in Black, Darlington tonight. 140 laps for these drivers. We got an insane point battle going on right now, but really, the first thing I think is worth noting is how drastically different this racetrack is tonight in comparison to where we came from, which was Daytona, and where we're going to at Auto Club.
Yeah, this is a track that I think a lot of drivers really struggle to get a handle on. They don't like the track when they first start. It seems impossible, but somewhere, possibly, maybe, down the line, you figure this place out, and then you come to love this racetrack. You love the history of it. You love the challenge of it. And if you could stay out of trouble, you could find yourself in victory lane here. So many different strategies, so many different ways to race this racetrack. And while some drivers loathe it, I know that there's going to be a couple of them that are going to rise to the occasion tonight.
They absolutely will. Speaking of rising to the occasion, Tyler Dalton is looking for redemption. Last night, had a rough go of it at Talladega, and I thought for a little bit there he was going to be able to bring it back and bring home the checkered flag, and ultimately got caught up in some more drama. But tonight, he's going to start on the pole in that 19 car right there and roll it off the grid at the moment. David Comstock, Jason Karlovage is going to start third. Justin Fuller, our points leader, is going to start alongside or just in front of David Schildhouse, who is battling 18 points off the lead. Those two, that's going to be a tight battle, and I know David Schildhouse is feeling pretty confident tonight. Brian Macklin, Pedro Mojica, Thomas George, Troy Haight, Kevin DeBrown is your top 10.
Field rolls off as Mark Jorgensen Jr. is going to be behind them. Chad Coleman, Anthony Savignano making the return in the 99. Jose Gonzalez and Stoney Benfield make up row number 8. 17th starting spot for Patrick Colby. Wesley Donaldson to his outside. 19th tonight for E.J. O'Rourke, last night's winner. And Nelson Rivera will start 20th.
Then it's Robert Fanning III, Logan Koger, Anthony Calatoni, Brian Wortman, Kevin Stoll, Jason Pick, Jeff Hollingsworth, Bentley Glacier, Josh Parker starting 29th tonight. That'll be a story. Doug Roth is going to round out our the top 30 here as we get ready to go. Green flag racing. Tyler Dalton brings them out of 3 and 4, ready to go racing here. This famed lady in black. The Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series side by side, and they're seeing the green. We're live here at Darlington.
Field roars to turn number 1 for the first time as everybody tries to maintain their P's and Q's. It gets really tight there. We've got cars bouncing off each other coming through the corner. They roll down the back with Tyler Dalton lead the way into 3.
Already showing some incidents on track as Kevin mentioned, it looks like Robert Fanning III had an issue coming to the line. Either way, though, free and clear. Tyler Dalton is going to lead lap 1. David Comstock, Jason Karlovage, and Justin Fuller, your top 4. Then it's David Schildhouse. He's going to be able to recover that start and maintain that 5th place position. They all get single filed out with the exception back here. That's Kevin DeBrown, Eric Arnold. They're side by side as Fuller is slow. A big hiccup. Fuller's really slowed down the backstretch here. And Kevin, it looks like a little bit of drama early for our point leader.
Yeah, Fuller got a little off track down the left side. Got it recovered. That exit off of turn 2, so tricky. You could bounce off the wall there. You typically go down to the bottom, have to breathe the throttle to keep from going down and making contact with that inside wall. That could end your night very quickly here. Fuller recovers. He's now in the 17th position, giving chase to Patrick Colby in the number 28 as Colby looks low underneath the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. O'Rourke on the high side. Darlington stripe for the number 41 units Toyota as he rolls off turn 4 with momentum. He's going to cover Colby, but he's got the stripe on the right side.
Yeah, we're going to hear a lot of that tonight out of these drivers, that famed Darlington stripe. The right side of these cars, before it's all said and done, is going to look rough. A lot of drivers, this as Kevin mentioned, this is a track that some folks love, most folks hate. But once you learn to love it, once you figure it out, it's not a bad place to go. But it is a unique track. You're going to end up in a wall. There's a lot of opportunity here for you to find that outside, especially on corner exit wall throughout this entire race here tonight. Out front, David Comstock, Jason Karlovage, David Schildhouse has moved up to 3rd. Brian Macklin, Pedro Mojica, your top 5. Again, Justin Fuller, our points leader, and was up front there. He's fallen all the way back to 15th. And Kevin, I don't think, as we see E.J. O'Rourke slow up against the wall as well, some drama out of that driver. I think these guys, Justin Fuller especially, now he's going to have to navigate through that traffic. And knowing that you have limited laps, limited tires, and tires going to be a factor here, do you think this changes basically the whole outcome or the whole strategic outlook for Justin Fuller tonight?
Yeah, really, you just race the racetrack. I think Justin's got plenty of time to recover. If you're going to have a difficulty, you've got to have it in the beginning. And I think from this standpoint, yes, he's probably not happy with the situation, but he knows he's got speed in that number 51. And I believe the best way to feel good about that is just one car at a time as you go through He knows that 20 car, they're competing for the regular season championship, is sitting up there in third. He could see it on the scoring pylon, and the 20 car is your winner here from the spring. So he's got a big task ahead if he wants to wrestle this down from Schildhouse. But like I said, he's got plenty of time to do it.
He does. Justin Fuller's made his way all the way back into 14th here. Speaking of David Schildhouse in that 20 machine, I was speaking to him just a little while ago. He was actually getting ready for this race. I hopped in the stream, said hello to the children, and he was saying how his ultimate goal, the only goal he had tonight, is beat the 51 car. And it looks like he is a man on a mission. He has worked himself up to third after that fifth place starting position here just 9 laps ago. David Comstock continues to lead. Jason Karlovac, P2. Those two have started to separate themselves just a little bit out front of that 20 car. Brian Macklin, and Kevin, Brian Macklin has surprised me over the last couple weeks. We've seen that driver put on quite a bit of speed here and show up and show out just a little bit in that 30 car.
Yeah, good qualifying and good racecraft lately out of the number 30 camp. And Macklin, he knows how to get the job done. Previous champion, knows how to win big races too. And by the way, this is one of those races where these drivers who pulls down the victory is going to get a little bit of cash. I'm looking at the driver hunting him from the 5th position, Pedro Mojica, in for Bobby Wetzel. He's like the super sub. If I'm going to find somebody to stick in my car if I can't make it through, it's vacation season. A lot of people are out and away. Pedro running in 5th right now. Don't be surprised if he comes in and spoils the party.
Yeah, I was really surprised to not see him in that ARCA field last night for the Sunday Night Surge Series here on Turn 1, but ultimately coming back here to run the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series, and we're happy to see it. That 9 car running 5th. Mark Jorgensen Jr., another driver, Kevin, that I know has pace. I don't know how much, I don't know Mark that well, but I think you do. What type of track does this look like for the 88? Is this something that we could see him being in contention for the win here tonight?
Yeah, one of the things I would say about Mark Jorgensen is he's in his craft. He's like a robot when he races. He knows how to, what do we have, trouble for the 81 possibly? I see the 81 slowed down there on the apron, just about to pit road. And the
almost
car's
to a complete
just
stop
barely
as
down
Josh
there.
Parker, and it does look like he had a bit of an incident on track, but I am not quite sure. Maybe trying to, nope, not. He's going to make it back to pit road, maybe hoping that caution would come out. Either way, Josh Parker's off to his night off to a not a great start. He's going to join EJ O'Rourke down pit road.
He came off of turn number 2, and the pick number 53 got sideways, came back up across the racetrack, and just absolutely body slammed the 81. He was up there. I'm not sure why he didn't draw a caution, but he found a clear spot, pulled down, and went to the pits for the attention of his crew. But I ran Darlington and NIS, and surprised to see Josh Parker in the race. He went up like Josh Parker does, drove up, got himself to the lead, was running around, and then I think he had something to do and he checked out, but he was leading the race at the time. So I know he had a stout car to come in here tonight, and unfortunately for him, I think that Irish Spring Ford is absolutely killed. It looked like the right side just absolutely pancaked.
Up front, Jason Karlovac leads. He got that lead away from David Comstock. That's David Schildhouse just behind him running P2. And those two have broken away from Comstock. 1.4 seconds and continuing to grow here. But I almost get the impression Karlovac is in defensive mode. Schildhouse is just waiting. We've seen Schildhouse save tire. He knows how to... He lost a little bit of feeling in this car, I think, over the summer, he'll admit, but very recently has started to pick the pace back up, and they're already going to run into some lap traffic as they rip down this backstretch here at Darlington. The sun going down, that's going to be a factor. Changing track conditions are going to be something we have to talk about as the night goes on here. 140 laps, so still a long way to go as we see Jason Karlovac catch up to that lap traffic.
Yeah, Karlovaj now looking to see if he can make a clean exit here out of turn 2 and get around Pick. He was able to do it. Pick's car looked again a little nervous coming up off the corner, and I'm sure that made Jason nervous, but he was able to get around. It's one thing to run this racetrack. It's another thing to look in your rearview mirror and see the 20 of David Schildhouse hounding you. Really, what you should just do is focus forward and make sure you hit your marks. And I'm curious, one of the things that drivers do to get around this racetrack, Sean, is they deal with shifting and they deal with their brake bias. And they sometimes change that as the run goes. And you really, one of the key to success at this racetrack is taking care of that right front tire. And I have to wonder if, for example, the 13 backed out of it as we got cars crashed down here on the front straightaway. The 5 is having a little bit of problem, but able to gather it up. We continue to be green as, just wonder if the 13 decided go ahead and let him go. And these two Jackrabbits are going to go out and run ahead of them as the 13's just going to run his pace.
Yeah, most likely that's the case, even though David Schildhouse is going to start looking underneath Karlovaj here. The lane, the ability to get around somebody here, especially under, normal, a longer green flag run, and we've been green for all 20 laps so far here tonight. It makes it difficult to pass at a racetrack like this. You've got to wait for that tire wear to really come in. You've got to be patient, and you've got to be mindful of how hard you're pushing the car. And, to that point, Comstock running lap times just about 5/100 slower than those two drivers in front of it, but very much a tire game here tonight. You really only have to stop once and maybe a little bit of save to get to the very end. So really, tires are going to be the ultimate deciding factor of how well you take care of them versus what you could get done. Speaking of getting done, Kevin, Justin Fuller, the driver of that 51, our points leader, he's all the way back up to 6th.
Yeah, I didn't think it was time for Justin to panic. He just needed to get his mojo going, and he would one at a time pick it off. He's right now hunting behind the number 6 car as Schildhouse again takes a look. The way you execute a pass here is, one, you want to be off a different lane. We see Schildhouse down about a half a lane on entry, getting a little air on the nose. You want to be at the back bumper and draw alongside and beat them on entry to the corner. And right now, I know clean air is king, and I believe Schildhouse is just tracking, waiting for the right time, because you said it earlier, if you get yourself in a battle running side by side, you're trapped down there on the bottom, you're really pinching the car down and trying to keep it from sliding up into the car around the outside. It's going to put tire wear and pressure and build heat in the tire. So I think Schildhouse right now is content to ride. He's also looking at the monitor and see if anybody else is coming up. And I believe if he finds someone to challenge him, he might turn up the wick and go on by. But right now he's riding in the tire tracks and seems rather content.
Yeah, Kevin, one of the things I think we'll see tonight is not a lot of drivers battling in the entry to the quarter, as you mentioned, but more so right here, coming off of turn 2. They're going to get that momentum and that drive off where we'll see a lot of passes right here down this backstretch. But you've got to get that pass done before you get to that quarter entry. Again, this track looks very wide, and it looks like you can run 2 and 3 wide down there. But the banking and the way it's shaped absolutely negates all of that, because really it's about a lane and a half wide and right there on quarter entry. And being down on the bottom, being that driver who's having to try to make that pass, it's going to be pretty complicated, and you got to pick and choose your moments. Speaking of looking back through our top 10, everybody is single filed out as we saw. I believe that was Chad Coleman may have made a little bit of contact there with the wall. Nope, that was Brian Macklin, I believe, that did. Macklin, a little bit of puff of smoke coming out of that car as Tyler Dalton works around him. Dalton starting on that pole position and really moved backward through the field fairly quickly, back into the top 10 here. Another driver to look out for is Kevin DeBrown, another driver who started 3 spots up, but nearing right there at the 11th place spot, down to 14th, but has shown a good bit of pace here as of late as well. Looks like, Kevin, we got a little bit of a side-by-side battle. Is that Wesley Donaldson, Patrick Colby back here fighting for 12?
Yeah, Colby on the inside trying to get past and get clear. This is the conversation we just had. He's way down there on the apron of the racetrack, below on the flat. He's able to drive it in, slide the car up. You gotta pull the car down in turn 2 so you have the space to run off the exit. And Patrick Colby comes to that position over Wesley Donaldson. He's going to be in the 12th position. Donaldson holding down 13th. I wanted to talk about Tyler Dalton. Started on the pole, led the first lap, came off turn 2, and the car squirted out on him. Got a little sideways. He's one of the cars that had to kind of grab the steering wheel a little bit, slipped back to, I think, about 14th right there in the beginning, and now he's starting to make his way forward as he's trying to track down the 38. And doing a pretty good job of recovering after starting on the pole here tonight.
Back up front, Jason Karlovash continues to run up front. Again, starting to run into a little bit of that lap traffic, which is not uncommon here, but you got to pick and choose where you make those passes. David Schildhouse just riding in line with him. Last time by was about 0.2 slower, but there it is. Schildhouse sets up the quarter entry. He's going to look to the inside, and they are going to go at it. But see, that's what I'm talking about. You've got to get that pass. You got to execute early. Schildhouse drove it down in there and ultimately decided to back out of it as he heads back in right down to the tire tracks of Karlovash down into turn 1. Not going to be in position to drive off the quarter and make that time up down the backstretch. Back down the back a lap ago, right here is where he really drove it in, and Karlovash able to hold him off, but Schildhouse actually keeping the car a little bit lower in the middle of the quarter. Kevin, I think that's a sign of maybe a little bit more grip on that right front for the 20 car.
Yeah, it just feels like he's able to open the corner up a little bit by driving in lower. It lets him come across the racetrack a little bit more. And I know that these drivers realize this first stint they don't want to overrun the car a little bit too much. And, you know, you'll end up really taking a beating on the long end of this run. We talked to drivers. They said they could run about 70 laps. Well, we're only at 31. You got 40 or so to go. And if you abuse the car in the first half, you will pay dearly in the second half. But that doesn't seem to be a problem right now for Jason Karlovash. He's on cruise control and actually driving away.
He is, and navigating the lap traffic fairly well here is Karlovash, and took that lead about 15 laps ago and have not looked back. David Comstock, he's not letting these guys get too far out in front of him. As a matter of fact, at one point, David Schildhouse was almost a second out front of David Comstock, but since then they've equaled out those lap times, and while Schildhouse ran the fastest in the top 3, it was only by about, again, 5/100ths or so. So certainly something to keep an eye on. Another driver, we talked about him already, Pedro Mojica. He's running 4th right now. Is up 3 spots on the night in that 9 machine, and looking like he's having a pretty solid night so far. Then it's Mark Jorgensen and Justin Fuller sitting up to 6th, kind of almost back to where he started. Fuller is right now, 18-point lead over David Schildhouse, and he is going to have to be Mr. Consistent down the stretch here. He turned the wick up during the summer almost when Schildhouse started to have his fall off, and right now currently running 6th, looking for an opportunity to capitalize on another solid points night.
This is where the drivers know what they've got. They know if they went out a little bit too hard and they need to reel it back. And so this is where you don't try to pass the car in front of you, but you start to race the racetrack. And if the car in front of you comes back to you, then you set up the pass. And they're also looking out the windshield at the cars beyond. Are they coming back? Is there lapped cars in play? Is there somebody down on the lane? And you know, this is one of those racetracks you really have to watch way up ahead of what you're doing. Let's run inside the car here and look at the line that he does. Out of turn 2, right there at the Goodyear sign, he turns down. He's going to come out. He's got the sun in his eyes. You'll come all the way down here. There'll be some red and white stripes. Pick one of those. That's your braking point. He's running the high side here. It will be a lane off. He wants to turn down a little bit so he can let the car roll off. And we see him running in 4th gear right here. Some drivers will stay in fifth. He shifted to fifth, about at the start-finish line. You're going to pick up the throttle and let off right there at the Goodyear line, go down here. If you don't turn down on the exit of turn 2, the car just pushes out and hammers the outside wall. And I can tell you, as the glare on the racetrack gets worse and worse as this race goes on, you start to pray for the lights to come on. And it gets very dark as the sun sets here at this racetrack. But you basically run this track by feel, Sean. You know every inch of the racetrack, how much throttle to give. And every time you go into turn 1, I think that's the biggest factor. How did you get in? How did the car take a set? How much throttle can you play with to get speed through the middle of that corner and try to carry as much speed as you can down the back straightaway to stay in contention?
Speaking of that back straightaway, and Kevin, I think you nailed it perfectly. That was the point I was going to go make, is down that back stretch, you're running right into the sun, and the more laps you tick off, especially on a longer green flag run, the more that sun's going to be right in your face, and that hitting that corner entry perfectly because of the uniqueness here. You got to almost diamond it off, enter low, open it up, slide up the racetrack, but not too far. It gets really difficult to see the track in the shadow. So as you mentioned, you've got to know the track by feel to be successful here long term. 40 laps in the books here tonight for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series, brought to you by Turn 1. Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Fitz alongside Kevin England, and so far it's been a caution-free night here at the Lady in Black, Darlington. Just again, a recap. We are heading to Auto Club next week right here on Turn 1 for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series. That is going to kick off 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central right here with Sean and Kevin on Turn 1. It's going to be a good time. We hope to see you there. If you haven't already done so, like the stream, subscribe if you can. We'd love to see the support and for you to be here for more racing action all the way through the end of this season, which is running all the way out to just before the Thanksgiving holiday. Jason Karlovash continues to lead. David Schildhouse, Pedro Mojica, David Comstock, and Mark Jorgensen Jr., your top 5. Kevin, one of the drivers I think is worth mentioning here so far, I take a look through scoring, is Bentley Glazer, that driver of the 36 machine. He's in 16th right now, but I think what's impressive here is he's not only in 16th, but he's gained 13 spots on the night. Not a great qualifying effort out of that 36, but this just shows you, with the right patience and pace, you can drive through the field here.
Yeah, no, excellent run for Bentley Glazer, and one of those cars that is always consistently fast, so I would expect he'll be able to pick off a couple more here before the green flag pit stops if we get that far. I have to say, looking at these leaders, this is the opportunity for David Schildhouse that he's been looking for. As they get into lap cars, it disrupts the rhythm of the leader. Right there, even as you see Schildhouse look low. Is he going to go low? He is. He's going to be side by side out of turn number 4. The momentum should be to the high side, and it will be as Karlovash able to cover him. But this is opportunity that maybe Schildhouse is waiting for. He could see in the scoring monitor that there were some cars coming up that they would get to. That takes away the clean air from the number 60. And Karlovash, his car is going to struggle a little bit in the turns, and that opens the opportunity for Schildhouse to pounce and take over the lead.
Not only the aero being a factor, but the position on track. Keep in mind, these drivers out in front of this group, they're fighting to stay on the lead lap. They're not just going to pull over, especially at this point of the race. Jason Karlovash just looking to try to find a way around them as they actually start to get tighter with each other in front of them. And that's where we're going to see Schildhouse really take advantage, is where is he seeing Karlovash having to go on track as they actually slide over. I don't know if that was by design or if they got in a little bit of trouble there. Either way, Karlovash, no factor here. All of a sudden, all of that's a moot point at least. Let's call it for the next 5 laps or so as he continues to lead. One thing to note here as well, and knowing tire wear is a factor, take a look in that 3rd place spot, Kevin. That's Pedro Mojica. He's worked himself up to 3rd, and his lap times, at least last time by, were faster than the 2 in front of him.
Yeah, Pedro sitting in the Bobby Wetzel number 9. He's smooth as glass. On the long run, he is always fast. You could never count him out. And again, these top two have been kind of constrained a little bit. Jason Pick, he got loose, and when he did, he got tapped in the behind, and that's when they went down the racetrack, and it was good for Karlovaj as he didn't have to struggle with that. He's got one more car to deal with, but as they were caught up behind those two cars that they were looking to lap, it allowed the 9 car to close in. Now they have Doug Roth out the windshield for your leader, and then there's a little bit of open racetrack. And I see Schildhouse has dropped off just a little bit as Roth clears the way. Will he clear the way for the 20 and the 9? That's a good question. He is. And if I'm Troy Haight in the 46, I didn't deserve to get past. So what I want to do, I want to track and basically get a rope and tie on the back of these leaders and hope there'll be a caution and I can get the lucky dog. Is he's currently holding down that 27th position, and he doesn't want to slip any further in the field here at Darlington.
He certainly doesn't as these drivers continue to click laps off. They come back to the stripe here. Oh, who was that? Was that what happened to the 99 there? I show he either disconnected or something. He took a hard left. Oh, nope, back on. Some connection issues there. Oh, he's going to move down to the bottom of the racetrack. That is not the outcome the 99 wanted to see. I think that is a poor connection and doing the right thing. Moving off track here and letting these guys go by as he's going to lose a bunch of time there. They're going to come across the stripe this time. That's Karlovaj there. And all of a sudden, to that point, he's sitting almost 8/10 out front of David Schildhouse, and Schildhouse in some trouble here. Here comes the 9. Uh-oh. Bubbles and troubles there for the driver of the 20 car. Kevin, I know we talked about that fuel run being right around 70 laps or so. Who, if you're one of these drivers, say you're running 8th, Chad Coleman right now, he's sitting in that 38 machine, having an okay night, or you're Tyler Dalton, the driver sitting right behind him. Do you take a chance and short pit here to get the better lap times? Taking a look, some of these lap times are a second or more off through the field. Is that a factor when running here at Darlington?
Yeah, you could expect these drivers of mulling this over as it could be a one race or one pit stop race, but if you pit, you're going to get lapped, and then you'll have fresh tires. If it stays green and you could get back around the leader, I don't know. The drivers have run this all through, and I think what they're going to do is when they see the leader go, they'll go, but not before that. Although every once in a while we're thinking like Kevin DeBrown, try an alternate strategy and leapfrog a bunch of cars, get yourself to track position if the caution should happen to fall the right way. But it's a pretty big gamble. I'm with you though. If I'm back there sitting in 12th, 15th, 20th, I might take that gamble and see if it pays off. Do something different, and you might find yourself somewhere in the top 10 at the end of this race.
Jason Karlovaj continues to lead. He was out front 0.7 of a second, and Schildhouse able to pull him down within a 10th there. A little bit of a slow exit off the corner for Karlovaj. And at this point, these cars have they're lighter than they have been all night, and in most instances lighter than they've experienced even during practice. Most drivers not putting in a full 50-lap run and not understanding how the car is going to change. The tracks got rubbered in a little bit here. The tires are wore. The fuel, not as much as they had, obviously, at the start of the race. And then on top of all of that, the track is starting to shade up in 3 and 4. So a lot of dynamics happening there. Everybody having to adjust with how the car is shifting and transitioning as we continue to move here, as we start to close in on what could be green flag pit stops. Taking a look back around P10, that's Eric Arnold. He's back to where he started here tonight. Wesley Donaldson having a decent run. He's up to 11th, up 7 spots. Patrick Colby is sitting 12th. Tyler Dalton, just after that, after the start of the race, and just not really recovered very well. He's up to 13th, but certainly you've got a long way to go there for the 19. Then it's Jose Gonzalez and Bentley Glazer sitting in your top 15. I tell you what, Kevin, if you would have told me at the beginning of the night we would see 56 plus laps of green flag action to kick this race off, I don't know if I would have expected that. This track is really tough. A lot of drivers as we've seen, have had trouble getting around here. What does this look like from your perspective, a driver who ran NIS last night, knowing how difficult it is to get around here at times? Did you expect to see this green flag run last so long?
I have a benchmark for this racetrack, and it has to do with the first 10 laps. If the drivers could put in 10 laps. Oh, he saved it.
What a save, and the green is going to stay out. Pedro
Oh my
Mojica
gosh, unbelievable.
taps the left rear of David Shieldhouse. Shieldhouse had that car completely sideways out of turn number 2, and it was able to recover and keep moving. He's going to move up to 5th. What a save there out of David Shieldhouse. And Pedro Mojica, I almost guarantee that was not intentional in any way. That just shows you how difficult it is to navigate around traffic here, especially on corner exit. Kevin, that could have been disastrous for the 20 car.
I'm really surprised that didn't draw a caution, given the car was in such yaw going around. And boy, I'll tell you, good hands goes to that number 20 is the fact that he got that car sideways at 45 degrees to the racetrack and pulled it back and grabbed the gear and drove off through it. That was an exciting moment, and no matter what the fortune is for later tonight, he's going to look back on that and wonder, he went into turn 1. I watched him go up. He was up pretty high, and I almost feel like, I don't know that he breathed the throttle or whatever, but maybe the car slowed up a little when he turned down, and he had to, he drove basically across the nose is what I'm saying. And I don't know if that's just Mojica carried too much speed in, or Shieldhouse eased off so that he could do what I had said, is you turn down at the Goodyear sign to get in, and they were just met in the middle there. But nonetheless, that could have been calamity for the number 20 car, and he was able to pull it out. As we had races all over the racetrack. The 93 of Kevin DeBrown looking down low here. I'm telling you that this is where you start to see the comers and goers, right? We talked about that. We're at lap 61, getting close to that halfway point, and this is where the drivers who abuse their tires are going to start to show up.
Absolutely. That's your exact term I was thinking of there, Kevin, is the come and goes, and the folks who save their tire versus the folks who may have been running on the edge for the last 50 laps. Well, guess what? They're going to fall off a cliff right here. These lap times, as I mentioned, approaching the 1.5 second delta from the best laps of the night, as we see Chad Coleman. He's unfortunately going to be a victim of, he's going to be one of the goers. He is on his way back. It was Patrick Colby battling there, at least for that 11th spot initially. Coleman was 7th just 5 laps ago or so, or 8th, and has fallen back out of the top 10 here. And it just takes a couple cars right there with you on the bumper, and you get out of shape one time, and it's going to be a train coming after you, especially if you get out of shape and can't recover. Looking back up front, Carl Lavage, he's out front and free and clear. 1.7 seconds over Pedro Mojica, the biggest lead we've seen of the night. And, Kevin, I'm going to be honest with you. That 60 car, I did not have this again on my radar of him being so quick here tonight, able to break out to a 1.7 second lead and really just kind of running his own pace. The fastest, he's got some of the fastest lap times in the top 10 still.
Yeah, for Karlovaj, it's like I said, sometimes people just find the click with this racetrack and they get it going. And Karlovaj has been smooth as glass all night long. Certainly the trouble with the 20 car, that's going to put him in a little bit of jeopardy. And, we were talking about it. Could the 51 recover? Well, I look at the 51 of Justin Fuller as Johnny Hustle. Man, he's always hustling the car. You see the car bouncing off the wall here and there. But he has run down that 20 car with the troubles out of turn number 2. And Fuller is looking out his windshield at Shieldhouse. And this is mission accomplished. For this first stint, I think he probably wanted to get Sean to the first half of the race and at least get back and recover what he lost. And he's pretty close to doing that. We'll see how these drivers fare when they head to pit road in a number of laps. But what an outstanding race we've had so far. And nobody's got anything for Karlovaj, but when they go to pit road, Sean, all things can change.
It absolutely can. And speaking of, we should expect to see stops here the next 4 to 6, 7 laps or so. And let's talk about this pit road entry, especially under the green flag conditions. Not only is your tires, they're going to be worn, so you're not going to have a whole lot of grip, but it's going to be difficult to drive down the racetrack, get that transition, get the car slowed down to pit road speed. On top of all of that, you're going to have debris you're going to have to deal with on those tires. It is going to be a significant shift. And keep in mind, it has been 67 laps of green flag action here so far tonight at Darlington. And there's a rhythm that comes with that. You're at pace, you're moving. And then all of a sudden, having to bring yourself and change up your lap that you've been running the last 68, 70 laps, change that up all of a sudden to get down pit road. It is where mistakes can be made.
Yeah, this is also a difficult time for transition. It's 7:15 sim time. Temperatures dropped only a couple degrees, but they're under partly cloudy skies, and the cloud covers come over, and of course it's getting dark. And so for these drivers, a lot of the times they use the lines on the racetrack or different things to use for sight lines as to where they turn in, where they put the brake in, how much input they put. As Fuller has caught the 20 and looking to go around. And on top of that, now they got to turn in for the first time to pit road. Number one job, get to pit road, don't hit the end of the barrels, don't miss the entry mark, and then by all means, do not speed on pit road or your race is over. As we see the first takers, the 91, the 95, the 84 on pit road, it'll be 4 tires in fuel for everyone, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, absolutely. You're not going to want to skimp on the Goodyears as Thomas George hits pit road. You may stop here. Fuel-wise, you're going to fill it up and make it all the way to the very end as we're officially the halfway point. But tires you'll want after 10 laps as we see Justin Fuller continue. Oh, and Schildhouse is going to duck down to the inside. He's going to let Justin Fuller go, but I believe that's going to be Schildhouse. The 20, he's going to come to pit road for his service, and so is our leader, Jason Karlovage. Green flag pit stops underway here, lap 71 at Darlington, as Pedro Mojica inherits that lead with Mark Jorgensen Jr. What a run out of nowhere. Mark, Mr. Consistency, as you called him, Kevin, the robot. He's up 10 spots so far, and he's going to come down pit road with Pedro.
Yeah, iRobot's done an outstanding job just quietly making his way into the top 5 as Schildhouse goes down and pops into his box. We saw the 91 slide through and have to back up a little bit. That's not the worst thing that could happen, but it's certainly not a good thing, as every moment you spend on pit road is time on racetrack, as Justin Fuller has picked up and led a lap here with the 9 coming to pit road. Good pit service for the 20 down and away. We'll see where he nets out when it comes to where he and Fuller are going to be when this is all said and done.
Looks like Fuller's going to stay out one more lap at least here, but being the driver of the 51, you see Eric Arnold, Kevin DeBrown come down. You cannot stay out there too long. The tire delta here, or the lap delta, is going to be significant out of David Schildhouse, and while you're hoping for a caution that could flip the field here, this is not the time to do it, especially in such a tight championship battle at the moment. Speaking of David Schildhouse, down pit road, he was in his box here. A pretty good execution down pit road. A 15.3 second stop in the box, but what happened here is Kevin, I showed David Schildhouse down pit road, 52.6 total seconds. Everybody else in the 52s, 53s, a little bit of a longer trip down pit road for the 20 car.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was slowed up trying to see where his box was when he was pulling in, as our leader peels off out of turn number 3, makes that long arc, has to get it down to 45 miles per hour, locks up the brakes down to 45, and Justin Fuller going to pit service in the number 51 WBD diecast Toyota.
Fuller down pit road, nice and slow here. I believe it's 55, and just having to just hold it off a little bit as Patrick Colby, Stony Benfield move up to the top 3. They have not come down pit road. They are joined by Troy Haight, who I was about to say has the only other driver not to stop, but he's going to come down to the attention of his crew. Patrick Colby, he's hit that transition point. He's going to come down. Stoney Benfield is actually going to stay out one more lap, as now we've got a mix of strategy on track. New tires and old tires as they go screaming by Benfield at one point there. He's going to lead a lap here tonight at Darlington as we show 76 laps of green flag racing action so far here tonight at the Lady in Black.
You have to wonder if some of these drivers did try to save a little bit of fuel. The farther you can go, the less time you'd spend, as the 28 of Patrick Colby slid through his box, and we'll see whether the 75 is going to yield, as in fact he is pulling down the pit road. That's going to turn the lead back over, I believe, to Jason Karlovash.
It certainly is. The driver of that 60 had a great pit stop down pit road, 15-2 in the box, and then Mark Jorgensen Jr., he was able to capitalize his stop as well. He's going to come out P2. Pedro Mojica is going to cycle out the third. David Comstock, he's not done. He's going to cycle out up to that fourth place position. David Shieldhouse is going to start or cycle out to sixth. Thomas George, and then it's going to be Justin Fuller. He's actually going to lose 2 spots on the pit cycle here. I'm kind of surprised that Fuller stayed out as long as he did, and that's actually going to show here, as now David Shieldhouse is out in front of him nearly 3 seconds on track here at Darlington. That is going to be the story there of that pit cycle. Did Fuller, did he make a mistake there, staying out so long? And Shieldhouse looks like he has pulled it off now. Now starts the 20s drive forward here, and hopefully could get by the 9 here to work himself back into top 3 contention.
I think the gods are shining on that number 51. He may have gone a little bit longer, which cost him some time, but he has a little bit of a fresher tire right now as he rolls through. And we have to remember that he had that moment where he slid off the racetrack in the beginning, and he had to run the 20 down from deep within the field. Now the 20 is within shouting distance. So for that regular season championship, these two are having a knockdown, drag-out battle, and it looks good for Justin Fuller right now. I love the fact that, I talked about before how he just runs elbows up all the time. He's scraped the wall every single time I look at him. You got to see the sparks coming off, especially as dark as it is. Are the lights going to come on this racetrack? It is really dark here right now.
Justin Fuller admits he does not like this car at all. He doesn't enjoy running it. However, he's figured out a way to win in it, and we've seen that over the summer run here. He's pulled off a number of victories here for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series, and I think part of that, Kevin, to your point, is he's elbows up. He drives the snot out of this car each and every week. He is. Oh, we've got somebody spun. Who was that? That's David Shieldhouse in the wall. Oh, and then he's going to get tagged by the 91.
Wow, and that car is damaged. He's going to stop there on the racetrack and go to pit road. That must be severely damaged from the hit that he took. He's just going to take it right away and go. He missed the exit of turn 2. The car was sideways and just hammered the right front into the wall. And I believe he broke a toe link. I could see the car come across, and unfortunately for the 91, he hammered the back of the car, which made it even worse. So damage for the 20 and probably damage for the 91.
A turn of events here at Darlington with David Shieldhouse in trouble and ultimately retiring or towing down the pit road. Kevin, I think to that point, you are right. That 30 or that 20 car, significant right front damage. I don't know what to say there. It entered into turn 3, and it just looks like he just overdrove it and ultimately paid the price there, the car got unsettled and making contact with that outside wall. Jason Karlovash out front, Mark Jorgensen, Pedro Mojica, your top 3 as we're well past halfway here for tonight's Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series. Right here on turn 1, I'm Sean Fitz alongside Kevin England, and it has been a great night so far. Caution free here at Darlington, and the lady in black, well, it was pretty dark about 3 laps ago. We were wondering if the lights were come on. Now it looks like that sun's going to be shining down that backstretch once again as we're working lap 84 of 140. So closing in on closing in on 50 to go. Drivers have already completed green flag stops, so they've got enough fuel to make it to the end. Do they have enough tire grit and concentration to get there? Well, that's going to be an entirely different conversation. It looks like Cody Harris, Eric Arnold side by side as they come down the front stretch rather, off into turn 1, and Harris is going to work around him. That is for 8th place. Cody Harris in the top 10 for the first time tonight. Kevin, that's not a name we've talked about too much.
Well, and the thing is, I believe Cody Harris may have served a penalty at the beginning of this race. He started way out in the back. I might even started from pit road. So the fact that 3 wide as they roll through, he's up in the top 10 shows prowess that he might be a contender. I'm looking at iRobot closing in. He was a full second behind Karlovaj. And one of the things I know about the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. is that let him run the first run, he'll learn. And when you get to the second run, he will be flawless. And right now, he's run down that 60 from deep within the field. As we run the second stent here, he's within 0.3. And he's even run away from Pedro Mojica, who knows how to get around this racetrack. But if there's a caution out here, I wonder if Cody Harris is going to have a little something for these guys. Because I'll tell you what, he's been wicked fast all night tonight.
Yeah, up 19 spots, running 8th. But looking back up front, Jorgensen, again, was able to take advantage of that pit cycle, came down pit road lap 71, and almost executed perfectly. Near flawless stop down pit road and got the service, but now starting to close in on the bumper there. Karlovaj, that gap down to between 1 and 2 tenths, and really you just need to measure by car length, and it's about 1, as Karlovaj is going to run into a little bit of lap traffic here. Let's take a look at lap times last time by Karlovaj, a 29.91. Jorgensen a 29.86, and this lap traffic is going to play a factor here. Jorgensen right into the tire tracks, and it looks like they're going to have some trouble. Jorgensen's got to go wide.
He goes down underneath. Ron Holofield wasn't able to take advantage of that run. He's still right there. Now he gets to the quarter panel, puts a little air on that spoiler, trying to drag the 60 back. I know that Mark knows if he could get out in front right here, it would be an amazing opportunity, and not able to do it right now. Karlovaj fending him off, but Mark Jorgensen Jr., he's hunting for the lead here down the back straightaway at Darlington.
It has been a wild night here with the Lady in Black. It's all green flag racing, a lot of battles all over the place, but Jason Karlovaj led the most laps so far here tonight. Found himself up there. It started in the 3rd place position, up 2 spots, quietly just having a very consistent night and a good run up front. Survived the pit cycle and continues to lead here, but Jorgensen is in the rear view mirror hustling hard in that 88 car, looking for an opportunity. Kevin, especially this last 2 laps, Jorgensen's drive off at turn 2 is much better than Karlovaj, and it's starting to show as he looks underneath him as they roll through 4.
Yeah, if he could stay alongside of him and then get down to the bumper when they exit or enter turn number 1, he might be able to run. And, you know, that's a pretty common thing you see at this racetrack. And I think a lot of it has to do with throttle control in turn 1 and 2. Some drivers are afraid to stomp on the throttle through the middle. They feel like the car is going to push. Other drivers are able to grab the throttle and push in. As Jorgensen really hunting the bottom, and amazing how that car stays put coming out of turn 3 and 4. Is if you've ever been to Darlington, and I have, this is such an interesting part of the evening, and the skies are absolutely spectacular as the sun goes down to the horizon and everything turns crimson colors and oranges. This is it right here. I think he's going to get to the inside, and on entry, he's going to be able to execute the pass here. If he can keep along side by side with him going out of turn 4, and he's going to be able to do that, although he slips sideways, and that's going to allow Karlovaj to drive off. What Jorgensen Jr. has to do here is be a little bit patient, Sean. He's got the speed to get past, but having the speed and making the pass are 2 different things, and he should not abuse his car trying to make this pass. There's going to be opportunities down the road, although, gosh, he would really like to have the clean air.
He would, and where the 88 has really exceeded here over the last 5 laps is the exit of turn 2 or the middle of turn 1 and 2. He has turned down the track earlier and lower than Jason Karlovaj, and that has given him the run off. He's almost driving down the racetrack, and you're seeing it right there. He's a lane lower much earlier, and that gives him the drive off. He's going to make contact with the wall.
Oh, no.
Big save out of the 88. Kevin, we were just talking about how many times can you drive it off the corner like that and be able to save it? Well, it looks like he's met the edge there, and that is 2 things. One, the handling conditions of that car changing, but more importantly, how much right front tire wear does that 88 car now have after those couple attempts to try to get by the 60?
Yeah, I think one thing he needs to keep in mind as he bounces off the wall one more time coming off there is as he was running that bottom line in 3 and 4, he was heating up those right side tires. The grip slips away a little bit. You can hustle the car out of turn 2 if you drive it down low, but every once in a while you'll get that push loose and you'll get that slip out of turn number 2. And then what you need to do is just calm yourself, be cool, let the tires cool off, run a couple laps there. The other thing that he could do to help himself right now is stay behind a little bit so he gets more air on the nose. Just settle in, and then after about 8-10 laps, you can run him down again. We have to come back to the 20 story. He is out of this race, and that has been the story of the season for David Schildhouse. He and his spotter, Brian LaPlatte, they have gone to the house. The two of them have signed off, and for Schildhouse, with 9 wins on the season, unbelievable where he cannot seem to shake the gremlins as to how good he is, but just every race it seems like one little incident. He doesn't have a little incident, he goes big time, and unfortunately for him tonight, it cost him a finish.
It did. He's going to finish the night P28, which undoubtedly is going to be a significant blow to that regular season championship. And Schildhouse, he's a competitive driver, and knowing the damage that the 20 car had, there really wasn't a lot of point for him to be out there. He knew it was just going to be a miserable run, especially in a place that is very sensitive to how the car handles. Being out there with the right front tore up and potentially suspension damage was just not going to be overly beneficial. But man, that's just got a sting from a point standings position. And now Justin Fuller, he is really the one that's most relieved here tonight. That 51 car currently running 5th. He doesn't need to push the issue anymore. He can just cruise here. He needs a solid top 5. Would be a great points night for him. And outside of those two, not a big battle in that regular season point standings. But this is ultimately an opportunity for Justin Fuller to really stretch out that gap as we look up front. And Kevin, I'm surprised to see that 88 car, he's starting to close back in there on the 60 of Karlovaj.
Yeah, I think the 88's the faster car. He just needs to execute the pass, and he was so close to getting it done. Yeah, I think he's going to get there eventually. The question is, can he get a clean pass? And once he gets out front, I believe he's going to drive away. He's got the long run speed in that 88, although hopefully he hasn't abused the tires, but not to Karlovaj. What an outstanding race. Race of the year here for Jason is he leads going down the back straightaway. He's just been consistent and had speed, not slipped the wheel all night long. And he defines what is the perfect race, Sean, which is run your race. And so far, he's done an outstanding job.
Yeah, I did not have the 60 car. I think I said this about 40 laps ago. I did not have the 60 car on my radar tonight as being one of the drivers that could be consistently fast here. I would have, if at the start of this race, we talked heavily about the 51. We talked about the 20. We've talked about Tyler Dalton in that 19 car. And ultimately, right now, all those drivers are outside the top 4. And it's the 60 car who's going to lead the most laps here tonight. And ultimately, on his way so far, at least right now, looking like he is going to be the car to beat ultimately. Again, the 88 of Jorgensen's going to continue to run him down, but can he get by him? Well, he's running out of laps to do that. They're working lap 104 of 140, so closing in here on 35 to go. here tonight at Darlington on turn 1. Kevin, back to Cody Harris, that driver. He's up 20 spots, and he's quietly worked his way up to 7th. I think you're right. If there's going to be a caution here tonight, that's going to be the car that everybody needs to look out for, is that 95.
Yeah, and the 93 of Kevin DeBrown is shrinking in the windshield, or getting bigger. We got that wrong. As he is running down this 93, they're rolling into turn number 3 right now, and or turn number 1, sorry. And you know, he's just been consistently putting faster times, and I have to wonder, I'm going to have to peek at this and see if his lap times are commensurate with the leaders. His leader running a 15.479, and Cody Harris, what did he run? A 15.487. So he's within a tenth of your leader at this point, and that 95 is closing in on that 93. Looking to see if he can get himself a top 5 here as this run continues on.
Bentley Glacier also showing a little bit of pace here. He's sitting 9th right now. I've watched him out of the corner of my eye here. He drove off and down the corner pretty hard here on Eric Arnold. He's up 20 spots as well on the night, looking for an opportunity to squeeze a by. Glacier in the top 10 again here. And then the 19 here, Tyler Dalton, another driver, as I talked about just a few laps ago. Not the night he was looking to have. Started on the pole. Had a rough go of it last night at Talladega. And Tyler Dalton is a driver, I think he's got qualifying down pat. He's super quick, but maybe needing to work on a little bit of consistency here and working the long run pace. Right now, that 19 car sitting just inside the top 10 in that 10th place spot. Looking back through the rest of the field, you're not really missing anything more. Jose Gonzalez sitting 12th, Jeff Hollingsworth, Wesley Donaldson 14th, Joe Hudson, he's having a decent night so far, up 19 spots, sitting 15th. Patrick Colby, Troy Haight, Stoney Benfield wrap up your lead lap cars. Then it's Ron Hollyville, Doug Roth, Kevin Stone, Gerald Livingston, Anthony Calatoni, and Doug Sigmund remaining on track as we look back up front. And now the lights are on, Kevin, and I think the action's going to heat up here with this lead.
Yeah, just saw the 51 with a challenge off of turn number 2. The car broke loose, went sideways, very similar to what Schildhaus did. And fortunately for him, nobody else was there. He caught the car, but went down and hit the inside wall. He hit it pretty hard with that left rear. I'm not sure if he's certainly going to have some wheel damage, if not considerable damage to that 51. I see the car looks rather unstable right now as he comes up off the corner.
I was just about to say that, Kevin. He has wiggled every corner here right in the middle. And maybe that 51 got some suspension damage there. Oh, another wiggle. He's going to make contact with the outside wall, too. Championship
That's just normal
drama unfolding here.
No, I'm with you. I think that car has got a little bit of damage here, and he's certainly one that's going to be looking for a caution. He's still got a lot of speed, as you can see, but not where he wants to be. The good news for him, and really, mission for him is top 10. Do not damage the car. Get yourself to finish and gain all those points. He's not really looking for a win. He just needs a solid top 10 tonight for that regular season championship.
It definitely looks like the rear of that car is askew just a little bit. It looks like, oh, no, I think he is fighting a snap loose situation. He is wiggled a couple times now here and trying to find his way down. What really is going to be a factor, and I think he's tied on corner exit too. A lot of demons in that 51 right now. But the big factor here is now how is that going to affect tire wear? We still have a long way to go here, and Fuller is going to have to hold on to it for at least another 30 or so laps, or 25 or 27 or so. And, well, we've not seen a caution come out of the pocket of the flagman yet here tonight. And Justin Fuller maintain that top 10 presence here. Take advantage of David Schildhaus's unfortunate incident just about 15 to 20 laps ago. Jason Karlovac continues to lead Mark Jorgensen Jr. here on lap 114 of 140. You're watching the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series right here on Turn 1. And I tell you what, that 88 car he's shown some perseverance here. He has not given up just yet. He's actually run Karlovaj right back down. They're running off and on about the same lap times. We see Mark close in pretty tight here on Karlovaj. Last time by there, a 30-15 for Jorgensen. Karlovaj ran a 21, but it just seems like Mark getting right to the bumper there. And Kevin, I have to wonder if the aero struggles that so many of these drivers have talked about throughout this season are starting to rear its head for that 88 car.
Now, just as soon as you say that, he's down there low, hunting for the lead, and I think he is thinking it's go time. He would love to have another shot at this, and tell you the driver who's licking his chops is the 9 sitting behind him. Pedro Mojica would love to see these guys get side by side, scrape a little bit, and draw him back into this battle, and he could sneak himself a win. I don't like the way Jorgensen's car looks unsettled here, but it almost feels like Mark decided that it's time to try again here as he's down low out of turn 3 and 4. He's going to let the car drift up, carry a lot of speed, a little bit sideways, but fast. Loose is fast. Do you ever hear that before?
Yeah, it's loose as fast until it's not, and that's when you hit the wall because you're too loose. But ultimately, Jorgensen tried to hang on there, and you know, I think you're seeing it right there. He's capitalizing on that exit of turn 2, and he's just trying to build that momentum throughout the entire lap. He always catches him right here. They're side by side. This is for the lead here, by the way, but Jorgensen just has to pinch that car so far down and really heat up those right side tires. It's going to be a difficult challenge as it appears to get around the 60 car here with less than 25 to go.
Yeah, I almost wish I could strap on a pair of headphones and talk to Mark and tell him, let the car roll in, come up high at a turn 3 and 4, drive the thing down. He's pinching the car down here, especially on exit. It would be better if he diamond the corner and let the car roll up a little bit as he's putting so much pressure on the right side tires in 3 or 4. He's money in turn 1 and 2. Down low, gets it right here. He's able to pick up the throttle and close, turns down and exits low and gets such a good run off to the back straightaway. He could run right up to the back bumper, but 3 and 4 has been his Achilles heel all night long. And I almost feel like if you let the car drift up here, breathe the throttle, tapped on the brake a little bit and turned the car down, the exit out of turn 4 would put him on the bumper. And if he could stop that wiggle, he would be able to be there to make the pass coming out of 2.
Yeah, you're only going to do that so many times before the car punishes you, either with handling and changing the tire characteristics, or you're going to find an outside wall pretty quickly, just like we saw with the 20. Speaking of, by the way, Pedro Mojica, waiting for these two to start battling, guess what? He's closed that gap about 3/10. Mojica now within 6/10 of Mark Jorgensen. He could be the catbird seat here, just waiting for those two to start going at it just a little bit and slide his way up there into contention. No pressure back behind him. It's David Comstock sitting 5 seconds back. That just shows you the difference in speed in these top 3 drivers. Then is Kevin DeBrown running 5th, Cody Harris running 6th. Fuller has got that car at least figured out. He's a new way of thinking in the 51, and he's holding on to that 7th place spot, but he's nearly half a lap behind our leader, Jason Karlovaj, here as they work 19 to go.
Yeah, 19 doesn't seem like that much, but that's an eternity at this racetrack. And we also have to remember that everybody's running as hard as they can on worn tires, probably the hardest part. They've got nothing left to save. It's go time, and if you can go get another position, and I would not be surprised to see a caution late in this race. That is the history of it. And right now, the top 2 squeaking away from Pedro Mojica. He ran them down just a little bit, but now he's dropped off some. And these guys have clear racetrack. That's the good news for Karlovaj. I don't believe in the time we have left to go that they will get to anybody in the back marker part. So really, if Mark Jorgensen Jr. is going to have to do it, he's going to have to do it on speed, and he's there.
He is there, back closing in on the bumper once again. Can he do something with it this time? And Kevin, I can't help but wonder, you know, obviously through the end of that last pit cycle, we saw the first cycle before they came down pit road. the chaos picked up a little bit on track. We saw the covers and goers start to amplify, but now the track conditions completely different, and the car has obviously gone through its phase of transition with the setup. The track's cooler, the sun's down. Did some of these drivers find a little more extra grip here towards the end of this race?
I mean, we started track conditions 77 degrees temperature, and now the temperature is 74. Probably going to drop another degree before we go. And with the lights on, the track temperature itself has cooled off, which has amped up the grip. But I'll tell you what, Karlovaj, he just needs to continue to look at his windshield, not get distracted. He's been able to cover everybody all night long. And now the 88's starting to drop back a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of, well, I'm going to say probably some right front or right rear tire, where every time that car wiggled coming down the front stretch here to come across the stripe, that is that right rear slipping, adding a little bit more throttle to the car before it was ready, and ultimately burning a little more rubber as now Karlovaj out to 0.5 of a second in front of Jorgensen. Pedro Mojica now is actually starting to close that gap back up. It was 7 or 8 tenths there, now back to 6. So Mojica is just lying in wait again. The super sub running that 9 of Bobby Wetzel up here into the top 3. A good night for that machine. David Comstock, Kevin DeBrown, Cody Harris. Cody Harris is having a solid night as well. Again, he's going to be in contention if there's going to be a caution before the end of this thing. And then Justin Fuller, Eric Arnold, Bentley Glacier, Tyler Dalton, your top 10. Really nothing changed there. You're not really missing any battles out back. And again, Kevin, I got to say, if you would have told me we had gone nearly a full flag-to-flag, no caution race here tonight at this really difficult racetrack, I would have told you the likelihood of that is very small.
Yeah, no doubt. That is a complicated thing to do at the track that's too tough to tame, and these guys have tamed it tonight. Joe Hudson just moved around to the 14th position, moved underneath Wesley Donaldson about a lap or so ago. I believe Donaldson's sporting a little bit of damage, so his car is not as fast as it once was. But the progressive Toyota of Joe Hudson having a pretty good run from where we talked about. He started way deep in the field here tonight, and with this long green flag run has just kept the wick lit, and that 49 having a solid run, moving his way into the top 15.
Yeah, that was a 34th qualifying effort for Joe Hudson. He is going to, if he maintains that spot, finish 20 spots up in 14th. Quiet night for him. Same with Jeff Hollingsworth. He's up 16 spots on the night, sitting 12th at the moment. And then we talked about Bentley Glacier also just having a really consistent night. We've seen flashes of pace out of Bentley over the last month or so, and the driver of the 36 having a quiet night here at Darlington, maintaining his top 10 presence here as we continue to tick laps off. They're going to work down the front stretch, and that's going to be the 10 to go for the flag man for Jason Karlovaj. And it looks like Jorgensen, that gap that was 1/6 is back down to 3. Maybe getting ready to put one last charge at it here. How much, from a Jorgensen standpoint, Kevin, again, I mentioned I don't know his racing style as much. You've seen him over the years. If he gets to the 60, could we see him lean on him a little bit and potentially try to make that pass?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just having that same conversation with myself. Would he use the bumper? I think Mark would like to have a clean race. He understands that Jason has done nothing wrong and has earned the victory if that's the way it's going to play tonight. So I don't know that Mark would play rough to get the win. And right now, I don't know that he's got enough something in the tank here to run him down. Karlovaj, just a flawless race here tonight. And Jason hasn't won yet this year, but he's seeing these laps tick off, and he's praying, since he's had the field covered all night long, that he does not see a caution. Now, we wondered whether or not he would get to any cars from the back. Well, out his windshield, about 10 car lengths, are a number of cars, and they're doing a little wiggle waggle out in front of him there, and he's closing down on him pretty quickly. Gerald Livingston went down to the apron. He's going to yield to the leader as he sees it, and out in front of Karlovaj is the 43 of Doug Roth, who we saw pull down later. So I don't believe it's going to be too much of a challenge. The 88 would love to find a little something extra here.
Yeah, he would. He wants some of these lap cars to get a little racy towards the end of this thing, but ultimately, Karlovac, the king of consistency. One thing to note is Karlovac's lap times. He's obviously fell off just like everybody else, but it has been very subtle, very consistent. We've seen Jorgensen. He'll pick it up 0.2 and he'll drop it back 0.2, back and forth. Whereas Karlovac, not having to worry about really chasing anybody out front, just minding and basically racing the track and not having to put a whole lot of thought into the rear view, has been running very consistent lap times within about a 10th or so each and every lap. And wow, at times Jorgensen looks faster. Karlovac is the one that's been putting down the consistency to be able to lead so far here tonight as they come across the stripe. That's the 5 to go signal there for the 60. And Kevin, I think that was the last lap down car that he's going to catch before the end of this thing as they come down the backstretch. Ooh, a little wiggle out of the 60 car off of turn 2.
Oh, that's a big wiggle, and it's going to bring the 88 to his back bumper, as that's probably the first mistake we've seen all night long here, as the 88 now right on the Toyota side and slaps the wall, which is not going to help it. He saw the opportunity and tried to get into turn number 4 as much as he could, and unfortunately that's going to cost him and open that gap back up. But maybe a little life here out of Mark Jorgensen Jr. with 4 to go.
Yeah, you know, that's that checker flag anxiety. We've seen the 60 car stay out of trouble completely here tonight and ultimately get into that big wiggle there, maybe under the throttle a little harder than he expected to. Wanted to secure that gap, and then Jorgensen doing the same thing, trying to run him down. It's 3 to go here at Darlington. It has been a wild race so far. We're going to go caution-free with if they can make it the next 3 laps. Pedro Mojica, David Comstock, Kevin DeBrown, your top 5. Cody Harris having a really solid night. Justin Fuller, we've talked about him and the struggles between him and the 20 all night tonight. But Fuller, ultimately, even though he's got some damage, is going to recover to a 7th place spot or maintain that 7th place spot as they come across the stripe. There's Karlovac. He's just got to do it 2 more laps here, Kevin, to bring home the checkered flag.
Yeah, to see that white flag as he rolls up out of the corner here. He's got a reasonable enough breather behind him as he's opened it up to about 8 car lengths, rolls into turn number 1. He's going to come up and arc the car down to the back straightaway, and every time he comes off onto the back straightaway, I'm sure he looks up in a rearview mirror as he crosses the line, picks up the 1 to go signal in turn number 2, and all he has to do is 1 mile. It was 1.366. He's got about 1 mile to go, and he's got clear sailing through turn 3 and 4, and he'll be able to pull down the victory in what was a dominant race for Jason Karlovac.
Off of turn 4 for the final time. He sees a checkered flag. Jason Karlovac is going to be your winner for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series here tonight at Darlington. What a wild race here, caution-free. Kevin, that was
unbelievable.
That was a great race and clean class act across this entire field here with Sim 500 as Jorgensen tags the bumper of the 60. That is the attaboy there out of Jorgensen. A very classy move. Pedro Mojica, he's also going to tag the bumper of the 60. He's really excited to see Jason Karlovac bring home his first victory of the season. We're going to step aside for just a moment, and we'll get ready to talk to our top 3 as the 60 car brings it to a crawl here on the front stretch and get ready to burn it down. He was able to tame the track, often claimed too tough to tame. The 60 of Jason Karlovac, your winner here tonight at Darlington. We'll be right back for post-race coverage. Back live here on Turn 1. We're going to quickly talk to Mark Jorgensen Jr., who brought home P2 here tonight. Mark, congratulations on a solid finish here tonight. It looked like you had that 88 car on speed for that first half. Walk me through your evening and ultimately that finish.
Sean, holy crap, man, is it good to talk to y'all guys, man. Who are y'all? I mean, it's been one of them seasons, but wow. So, man, I'm sweating, trying to get my composure right because, Darlington, one of the toughest tracks on the schedule. And, we had a little issue where there was no caution. So, I mean, God dang, had to drive smart, drive fast, and keep the wheels up underneath you for all 140 laps. But, wow, so I very conservative in qualifying. My first lap, I smacked the wall. So I ended up resetting. I was like, you know what, man, I just need to try to get me a good top 5 starting position, P12. Man, do I got my work cut out for me. Well, I think there was within the first couple of laps, I guess there was a stack up at the front. Somebody might have been parked on the track, whatever. Guys had to make some evasive moves. And that just kind of checked everybody up. And, that kind of put me behind Jason about 4 seconds, four and a half seconds. Comstock at that point, and then once Jason got around Comstock for the lead, I mean, I just took my time, man, and I surprised myself. I really did. I didn't think that I had speed at this track. This has been turns 1 and 2 tends to you want to overdrive it, and so I just backed it down a bunch in the race, and man, that first run paid off. Jason short pitted. It is what it is. Had about a 2.5, 3 second lead and ran him down. And at that point, man, it's just dirty air. Jason's good. I mean, he knows that I'm not going to lay a bumper to him. He can run me tight, run whatever defensive lane that he needs. Knows that I'm not going to be an idiot and toss it down in there, wipe us both out, right? But God dang, man, I just needed him to have a couple bad exits of 2, and I probably would have been able to do something. But yeah, that dirty air was insane. The first long run, my tires were way better. They were like 10% better on the right front as opposed to that run that we just had to the checkers.
Mark, we saw, you mentioned being really able to drive off turn 2, and that led you to that 3-4 corner, which we saw you try multiple times to get underneath the 60 there. How difficult and how much tire abuse was that doing to your tires, especially running alongside there at 3 and 4? Clearly that air was a factor, but it seemed like once you got alongside of them, you had to pitch the car down so hard you really couldn't open it up and have that pace to be the alongside at the start-finish line.
Karlavich knew what he was doing. I mean, he saw me running the bottom, wrapping the bottom real good, and the bottom's the way to go. Any track where the top is predominant, on tires, it's not the right choice. You want to be on the bottom. From time to time, you might be able to run up top to get you a run down the front stretch or whatever. But no, I just stayed committed, and he knew once he got that defensive lane, that extra car width right to the wall on the exit of 4 is what I needed. And you when you're side by side in the middle of 3 and 4 like that on the bottom, man, you're wrapping that dotted line. You so badly want to gas her up, but you just know if you do that, you're just going to slide. And man, you just got to baby that throttle. And I'll tell you what, I hope he's sweating his ass off, to say the least. I mean, I was on him. I was driving hard. I mean, them last few laps, I was knocking the wall down. Thought that maybe Pedro might be able to get to me at least, but I don't know if he's going to be able to pass me. But man, I was trying. I really thought going. I mean, as soon as we saw Jason, that's all I was going to do. I was going to wait till Jason pitted, and I was going to pit the very next lap. And I really thought me and Pedro was going to be in really good shape. I really thought this one lap, newer tires was going to make a heck of a difference. But man, that clean air is something fierce. Man, I mean, he just. These guys are really good, right? Everybody in this league is good in their own right. And Jason, I mean, I'd make a mistake. I'd fall about 6/10 off his bumper, and I'd get back to within about 2/10. And, man, it was just very, very tough. But, I mean, he knows I'm not going to do nothing stupid. He knows the right lines to run to where it pinches my car off. And, hey, he earned it. them last 40, 50, whatever laps it was, he earned it. So congrats to him. God dang, just one spot short, man. It'd be nice to get these things in victory. That's what we need to do. We just need to mess up these lobbies to where there's no cautions, and hey, just take care of your tires, go out there and run them down. And those are the races that I like, man. When you got cautions and whatnot, then you hot lap into the next caution. I don't do that good at those, man. I'm trying to be one of those guys that takes care of my tires to where it pays off on the long run. And I tell you what, man, do we not have a long run tonight?
Well, Mark, listen.
Good stuff. I love it.
Well, listen, congratulations, P2 here tonight at one of the more difficult tracks to work here at Darlington. We appreciate the time, and hopefully we get to talk to you again here before this season wraps up.
I sure do hope so, Sean. But anyways, I appreciate Cook's Landscape Group for coming on board for Monday Night Series, sponsoring us in Sim 500. All the Sim 500 admins, right? They take their time to take care of the Discord, take care of all the questions, put these races on, and gives all of us guys a place to call home. I mean, I enjoy these guys so much. I appreciate Joey for all these years keeping up with me and persuading me to come back. Hey, man, I'm still getting my butt kicked, but you know what, man, I'm grinning from ear to ear. It's still fun, whether I'm on the hook or I'm talking to y'all guys. It's a blast. Turn One Broadcasting, Sean, you, Kevin. I tell you what, man, it's been a long time coming, to where I can snuggle up next to the the smoking hot wife and watch a broadcast in which the 88 car actually done good. You know what I mean? So we're gonna turn it on here in a minute. We're gonna watch this race back. Hey, might not have been the win, babe, but we're gonna be having some extracurricular activity here in a little bit. I'm gonna be chasing her around the house. I'm not too gassed for all of that, but you know what? I'm hot, sweaty. We might have to freshen up with the shower. But all the guys in the Discord chat, we got Doug Roth, Doug Sigmund, Joe Hudson, Brian Wortman. God dang, I know I'm going to miss a few of them. Joey, he started a new job, so he's going to be missing Mondays and Wednesdays for the next couple of weeks. It is what it is. Hey, Joey, hey, man, you missed a race, and look at us. We went caution-free from start to finish, man. Hopefully you're proud of us. But, hey, it's all because of a little mistake. But, we'll get that corrected going forward. John Fowler with Complete Graphics for painting this car, man. Looked good on track. It looked fast. It was fast. Hey, man, I finished one spot shy, but you know what? We finally got us another podium spot this season. And, man, I don't even know where we go to next. I'm jacked up. I'd really like to go ahead and get it going right now, but you know what? I got that smoking hot wife, in a couple rooms over. Hey, man, I got some other priorities to do, Sean.
Mark Jorgensen Jr. finishing P2 here tonight, but going to ultimately finish P1 here in just a little bit. We appreciate the time. Have a good one, sir.
I appreciate you, Sean. Y'all take care, Kevin. Love you.
Mark Jorgensen Jr. P2 here tonight. Kevin, I'll kick it over to you. I think you've got a couple drivers to speak to. I don't know if anybody can top that. I know you're going to get with our leader, Jason, and third place, Pedro.
Yeah, let's get a chat with Pedro Mojica. Pedro, just took a peek at your last 10 laps. It looked like exercise in frustration, but you got to be happy with the third place finish. And standing in there, we call you the super sub for Bobby Wetzel, and you had a front windshield view of that battle to the finish. Take us through your night.
Yeah, Kevin, it was a solid night, which I was looking for. I've kind of done a handful of these cup races on Monday, and it's not been really good. And we've had pace; it's just been caught up in other people's trash and messes and stuff like that. So it's been really frustrating. So yeah, tonight I just wanted to come in and not get in any trouble with anybody, or try at least. And overall, I feel like we did pretty good. Had a solid night. I think we had pace to win, but just the way this car is, the way the aero package is, like track position is pretty key, which Jason had, and he showed, right? Like he had challenges twice during the race, was able to hold them off and then drive back away. But yeah, I mean, start of the race we started 7th and just trying to save my stuff and be meticulous and careful with what I was doing, and had that weird incident like on lap 1, gained a couple spots there. And then yeah, it was just like picking them off little by little. Got a couple people let me go. Unfortunately, with Shieldhouse got into them. I look back at the replay. I apologize. Like I'm sorry for that, but like looking at it, I filled the hole essentially in the middle, And as I got in there, he started to turn down right away, and I was already there. It was like nothing I could do. But I feel bad, you know. I don't have any issues with David. He races really hard all the time, so you know, we race clean. But yeah, it's tough when you're racing hard like that, and it's hard to pass. And you know, I feel bad though. Like, you know, I was trying to like turn back down the track too. It's just I did not, like, I was already there. He turned down a lot sooner than I expected. And plus I didn't think we were that close to begin with. But yeah, I guess that was the thing, is I didn't think he was going to turn down right then and there. But either way, if he's listening, apologize, David. But I'm sure you'll be all right the rest of the year, man. You get all the bad luck out of it now, and you'll be good for the playoffs. But anyways, yeah, continued on. I should have pitted when Jason did, but I kind of also thought about Wetzel. Wetzel, I was kind of just on the outside looking in. He's a little further than most, but I wanted to get him a point, so I got him a point for leading the lap. I think that's still a thing. And then, yeah, we cycled out. I lost a spot to Mark, unfortunately. Like, guys filled her up, packed it in. I don't know. We just felt like tires were done changing, but I was still sitting there for another couple of seconds filling fuel. So that lost me the spot with Mark, and then just lap cars, kind of the way it played out. I lost like a second to Mark, and then after that, I was just playing catch up, honestly. But it's just was able to get to within a second. I think we're at one point we were like a half a second to 3/4 of a second to the leaders, but the dirty air was just too bad and made me tight.
When you get the first half of the race and the second half of the race after you pit, do you run it differently? I mean, we know that the first half you ran in the partly cloudy sun, then it turned absolutely dark. But when you get to the dark, did the car feel any different on the racetrack?
I felt a little more gripped up, so it felt tighter. So like that was the thing for me. I got tighter that second run compared to the first. And then yeah, just being in traffic just made it worse. But I mean, yeah, we were able to hang on to a third place finish, so I'll take it.
Yeah, that's when you're running an event that runs nonstop and you have to be flawless, you don't get a break. That's a long night's work and a good effort for you. And when you look at the other guys who ran in front of you, they ran the same kind of race, a decent race, and it's hard at this racetrack to run somebody down and pass if everybody's pretty even.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, first off, like, I don't run these things all the time, and they're kind of long races, and the fact that I show up and run a full race with no yellows and I'm able to compete for a win, like, I'll take it, man. Like, I don't do this crap every week like these guys do. I just show up randomly every now and then and just go wheel it. So I guess a little pat on my back for myself on that one. But yeah, like you said, when everybody's running the same pace and the way the aero is in this car, you can't do anything. So you're kind of just stuck where you're at.
Well, we love seeing you come out and join us, and we appreciate the effort you put in tonight. And I'm sure Mr. Wetzel will be happy to see how the results turned out. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, no, I appreciate y'all in the broadcast booth. Everything y'all do for this series. I always have fun listening to you guys when I'm not racing. You guys do a great job with the broadcast. All the admins appreciate what they do for the league. Always fun to come here and race with everybody. Cook's Landscaping or Landscape Group, like, appreciate them for sponsoring this series. I haven't been able to thank them at all this year, so appreciate them. And everything they do for Sim 500 and the Monday night series. And then just all the guys I race with on the team name deal or tag team. Everybody's there. We always have a good time, but also help each other out quite a bit. So yeah.
Well, we enjoyed watching your race tonight. Congratulations on your third place finisher. Go and celebrate with your teammates and have a good night, and maybe we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
There you go. Pedro Mojica, your third place finisher tonight. A a long, hard-fought battle, but nobody did it better than Jason Karlovaj, and we're going to turn and talk to our winner tonight. And Jason, the word flawless comes to it. What a performance, an outstanding run, and you have to be so excited that it just ran all the way to the finish. You kept these guys at bay, and here you are standing in victory lane.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. It's cool to get in victory lane. That's first cup win, so it's pretty exciting. Kind of got it in unique circumstances tonight with the cautions being off, and as soon as I found that out, I was like, hell yeah, because I know long green flag runs, long race like that. I was in a good spot there, so just had to keep track position. That was the name of the game, and David got to me the first run, and didn't get by. Mark was on me that whole last run and making me work for it. So, appreciate him racing me clean there. And, we had a good battle and just, happy to come out on top for once.
Take us through your night. You had to have a flawless pit stop and get yourself back out. I'm sure you were looking at the scoring pylon to see where you netted out. And just from the drop of the green flag, it looked like a flawless execution.
Yeah, fortunately everything went smooth. The green flag pit stops definitely had me nervous. I practiced and trying to pit and in practice and missed it a couple times. So I looked down, I saw we were halfway and kind of made a late decision to just dive onto pit road there. I didn't want to let someone else pit a lap or two ahead of me and get track position in front of me with the newer tires. So I just wanted to split the race there, and fortunately came out in front. I had a decent gap there after the first run, and Mark, I think, pitted a lap later than I did. Had a little bit fresher tires, and he made it work really well, and kept his tires together enough where he was still on it at the end. And everyone did a good job. I mean, lap cars gave a lot of room there, and there was some tough times. This car in dirty air is really hard to drive. So when I got tucked up behind lappers, and Mark gained a ton of ground there, and I thought he was going to get by. But I know the race didn't end up like it, a lot of people want it with the situation that happened with the cautions. But I can't complain, man. Everything worked out well.
Talk a little bit about driving the car. We only saw one little slip, but at some point, I mean, this wasn't a gimme. Mark was underneath you, side by side with you, coming through the corner and up out of turn 4. How do you keep your composure when someone's really hustling the car underneath you?
Especially on older tires, just trying to keep it straight, trying to not get too loose off the corner where he can get enough of a run to get his nose ahead into the next corner. Was really what I was trying to do there. I was doing a lot of mirror driving and trying to go wherever he was going into the corner, especially in 3 and 4. So if he went up high, I'd try to run high and just take away the air off his nose. And he got to me a couple times. I was fighting loose. I feel like I hurt my rear tires a little more that run. And I know, Mark was coming up quick there, and I thought he was going to get by a couple times. We went side by side into one that one lap, and that was tense. I thought it was over for both of us at that point. But there was no way I could just lift and let him go, so I had to just dive in there up top. It was an uncomfortable situation, but Darlington's fun. It's really cool to come out of here with a win.
Hitting 9th in points, 14 top 10s, 4 top 5s, got your first win here of the season. How does the rest of the year stack up for you, Jason? Looks like you have the momentum coming here at the end of the summer, and that's a good time to head into the championship.
Yeah, I needed a good run. That's really all I was hoping for. I was looking before the race, and I think the last top 5 was Nashville back in June. So it's been a long time since I had a good run on here. So just really needed that. Everything played out right tonight, and just worked out in my favor. And now I got some momentum. Feel good, getting better in this car compared to last year. And, think we got a playoff spot, so we'll do what we could. There's a lot of good guys in this series, and it's going to be tough to beat them in the playoffs, but I'm going to give it all we got, and get a couple more runs together like that, might have a shot.
Well, we're at Darlington, the track too tough to tame, and you tamed it tonight. You had a Chase Briscoe style performance and had led so many laps and came away with the victory. Congratulations. You got to feel really good. How about it, Jason? You want to say hello or give a shout out to anybody before we close down the show?
Yeah, that's cool. I was in Darlington last week and watched him win, so it was cool to be out there tonight and doing the same. So yeah, just appreciate you guys for putting on the broadcast and Sim 500 for putting together this league and putting on a show for us, to come race every week. And got to thank Speedway Collective for being on board. Fantasy NASCAR, new season's coming up quickly around the corner. We're rebuilding the whole platform for next season, so really excited about that. Just check it out if you haven't, if you're interested in playing some Fantasy NASCAR next year. And yeah, just appreciate everybody that puts the show on.
Got a smile a mile wide, and he has just conquered Darlington Motor Speedway. Congratulations, Jason. Go enjoy the victory, and we'll turn back to Sean to bring us home.
Thanks, Kevin. And with that, it's we're going to wrap up race coverage here. A wild night at the Lady in Black Darlington here at 140 laps. Green flag the whole way through. We saw a lot of strategy at play. We saw a lot of carnage in some instances. And we saw a lot of speed coming out of those drivers, especially the driver of the 60. Jason Karlovaj making his return to victory lane this season here tonight on Turn 1. That's going to wrap up race coverage. We'll see you Thursday night for the Ohio Sim Racing Group returns. Thursday night racing, and then the Sunday night Surge Series comes back Sunday right here on Turn 1, all beginning at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on Turn 1 Broadcasting. On behalf of the league admins, I'm Sean Fitz, that's Kevin England. We'll see you next time for more racing action. Goodbye, everybody.